Good morning. My name is Kaur Lass, and those who are more interested in my personal stories, and you can go to wellnessorbit.com and you can find one blog post which is about my personal story, why I do it. To be very short, I've never had a mental health problem, not a single one. While the topic today is stress and burnout and understanding the challenges, I have a very simple question to all of you. Who have had a mental wellness lesson in school? And I mean mental wellness, not mental illness rated lesson. Okay, one person. And that's a problem that we have in a society. We don't have any mental wellness lessons. We don't have a clear understanding what is our mind, what is happening in it, and how to lead it. And that is the main reason why I co-founded Wellness Orbit about 8 years ago. Basically, I've been working for it 8 years for free. I haven't had a single penny of salary. I've only invested into it. I invested more than 12,000 hours of my own personal work and quite a lot of money. And my interest is actually to help people to stay well. And here we have to start from a very simple thing. What is mental wellness? And the problem is that the focus has been on disorders and cure. We are talking about what to do when you are ill or when you are feeling unwell. But we are not talking about how to stay well. And that is why I asked, have you had a mental wellness lesson? Lesson where the focus is how to keep your mind fit and well. And as we haven't had it, then it's pretty hopeless that we are good at it. A very simple example, who have a driving license? Raise your hand. And now those who, most of you have driving licenses, very few don't. And those who have driving license, were you born with the ability to drive? That's my point. It's the same with mental wellness. If you haven't had a single mental wellness lesson, how are you able to keep yourself well? If you haven't had a single driving lesson, how are you able to drive? You remember the first time you tried to drive. Let's be honest, it was a disaster. Almost for everyone. I mean, I remember I read so thick book about driving a car, and when I entered into it first drive, I didn't get it off smoothly. It just died in my hands. But the question here is that you have a physical body. You are using it as your vehicle every day. It's basically the only body you have throughout the life. And when we take stress problems, and most of physical health problems and also most of the mental health problems originate from stress. And here is a problem described. There is an article which my ex-wife and co-founder Dr. Helen Lass wrote about proactive approach to mental wellness, and it is about personal sustainability. It is about having inner skills or intrapersonal skills to lead yourself. Because when you try to write something, you can use pencil, you can use notebook, you can use computer, you can even use iPhone or whatever kind of a smartphone you have to write something. But you cannot use any external means within here. You only have your own skills. That's why those are intrapersonal skills. If I have good intrapersonal skills and you don't, it doesn't help you at all. It helps me, but it doesn't help you at all. There are interpersonal skills. If I have good interpersonal skills and someone has good interpersonal skills, it's very easy to communicate. Good interpersonal skills depend on your self-leadership or interpersonal skills. And to clarify, all humans have inner domain. Very simple experiment. Close your eyes. Just close your eyes, nothing happens. External world is gone, but you still can listen to me. Try to think of something. Try to stop thinking. Now raise hands if you manage to keep your mind quiet. Very few. Now can open your eyes again. It's again a very simple illustration of how you don't control your mind. Stopping thinking with thinking is impossible. It just hierarchically don't work within your mind. It's just utterly impossible. And that is why we don't have understanding of this inner domain. And on daily basis, we all use emotions. We all feel our physical body. We all learn something. We all plan something. We all try to focus on something. We need to direct our attention. If you look at me, I am in your focus. If you think of something at the same time when you are looking at me, I'm no longer in your focus, because your thoughts are always closer than I am. They are happening within your own mind, not outside. So if you think of something else than what I speak here today, you have lost contact already with what I speak. It is that simple. And it always comes down to leading your attention or awareness. Where you put your awareness, there is your understanding. And we don't understand very much about creativity, insights, intuition, distinguishing, and all those interpersonal skills that are very relevant in our own inner domain. And mental wellness in a rightful context actually means certain ease of directing all those mentioned processes within your mind. And it only becomes possible if you personally are able to differentiate between specific interpersonal functions that you're using and understanding how it works. What are the patterns of thinking? What are the patterns of emotions? What are the patterns of awareness or attention or creativity? And you need to understand those as separate layers. And it is basically totally impossible to understand the inner processes if you lump them up as mind. What is mind? Is it thinking? Yes and no. It is also thinking, but not only. Is it emotions? Actually, yes, but not only. Is it imagination? Yes. And if we look within and really understand processes and leading emotions and leading thoughts and leading your imagination, it becomes only possible if you do it consciously with your awareness. Who thinks that you need to think for understanding? Raise your hand. Actually, no one does. You really don't need to think to understand of something. You either understand or you don't. Thinking has nothing to do with it. Understanding is awareness-based interpersonal skills. But it's not thinking, it's not emotions. You can feel good about it, what you understand. You can feel bad about it, but you still understand. So understanding is not about good emotions or bad emotions. Understanding is not about good thoughts or bad thoughts. Understanding is totally outside of thinking and emotions. And that is a problem, that currently we don't really understand who we are and what are our own interpersonal functions. And when we don't distinguish those two things, who am I, what can I lead, and what kind of inner processes do I have, then it's very difficult to maintain mental wellness. To put it more simply, there are external objects and internal objects. And in the center of your experience is true self, who you are in essence. Silent, always calm, always relaxed. Everyone in this planet Earth is born as true self. In the first year, every kid is just observing and learning by observing. You learn your language by observing words. You learn all your habits by observing your parents. You don't think that my mom is going to kitchen, taking a pan and putting some oil on it and then frying something. You observe that your mom is doing that. And by then getting the food, you understand that pan frying food is connected with my food experience later on. You don't need to think about it, you just observe and you understand. And as kids, we all learn this way. We learn to speak this way, we learn to walk this way, we learn all our habits this way. So what is a problem with internal objects and external objects and myself or my true self? It is a very simple problem. What you learn has mostly not been up to you. How your parents behave is not up to you. And surprise, surprise, your parents have had no mental wellness lessons. They don't understand their inner domain. They have learned somewhere their old habits that they use. Every single habit your parents have is learned from their parents and society. And so it goes on and on and on. We don't question what we learn it subconsciously. All school system is repetitive. We learn by repetition. How many of you have memorized something that you don't understand? Raise your hands. Yeah, I think actually everybody has. We very often learn something we don't understand at all. We just memorize it, and then we are able to repeat it, but we lack reality connection. It is not a practical experience, it is a theoretical experience. We know a poem, but we don't know what it means. And that is a main issue here. So mental wellness actually is about the quality of life. It is a proactive approach to mental health. It is about how to stay well, how to use all those interpersonal processes for remaining fit and well, whatever the external situation is. So it comes down to actually changing yourself first, and only then can there be a transformation towards sustainable lifestyles in society or sustainable workplaces. If you don't change yourself first, how can your workplace change? And my focus, or what I want to see in the world, is actually very simple. I want to see people to thrive and be productive. I want people to be engaged and take personal initiative. Nothing in my life has happened without personal initiative. I want people to stay focused. Even in open office environments when it's really hard to listen or stay focused. So that's why mental wellness is a vast area related to quality of life. It is about psychological well-being. I feel well. I feel peaceful, no matter where I am. And definitely, we all face challenges. And we all also face difficult work tasks. Is there anyone in a room who can say that I haven't faced a difficult school task or work task? One person. You're lucky. Most of us actually face quite difficult challenges. You either have to do something with very low resources, you have to do something regardless of opposition, and it's all paying a toll. But if you know how to stay well and avoid being ill, if you know how to use those skills here, then you have a power. So you can say that those are not superpowers in a sense that those are unnatural powers, but those are superpowers in a sense that say empower you to do what others can't without suffering from stress and burnout. And that's the key here. Empowering yourself. Most mental health issues that are related to work, like stress, burnout, depression, anxiousness, anxiety, those are fully preventable. And I mean fully, 100% preventable. And the main cause of the main cause of mental health issues is actually here. It is stressors and stress that is happening. So it is vital to understand that stressors aren't the same as stress. Very simple example. Money. Have you been stressed over too little money? Who has? Raise your hand. Now a question, have you been stressed over too much money? Very few people, but basically yes. Point is that money is not the problem. The problem is your reactivity towards the money. If you have too little, you have an inner subconscious reactivity which makes you worried about it. If you have too much of it, you also have subconscious inner reactivity. You might be afraid somebody will steal it. You might be afraid that you make a bad investment. You might be afraid that your bank goes bankrupt. You might be afraid that inflation eats up your money and you don't get to buy with it next year as much as last year. I mean, in Estonia and Latvia, we had inflation above 20%. So it is stressful in that sense. But on the other hand, money is not the stress causer. It is your reactivity towards money. If you would have no reactivity, you would look up options what you can do. So stress is not the same as stressors. And my point is that it's very hard to remove stressors because anything in a room can be a stressor. Anyone in a room can be a stressor. If my happiness would depend on totally empty room, I would have to say that, well, please go away. And then I would have to take all this furniture out in the corridor. But would I be happy here in a totally silent room with no one in it? Sooner or later, I would feel that it's really hard to stand. I want to sit somewhere. Lack of furniture would be another stressor. Then I would bring in back the furniture. And then the furniture can be again a stressor. The problem is never chair, people, things. The problem is, why do I react? And the honest answer is very simple. It is subconscious reaction. It is what you have learned without the filter from your parents, without the filter from society. So stressors are external factors. Stress is your inner reactivity. If there are stressors, but you have no inner reactivity, no stressor matters. And stress can be explained in a very simple way. Stress is adverse subconscious inner reactivity experienced by a person when in contact with different external pressures. But the contact is defined by you. Objects around are as they are, but you define the contact. So stress is experienced only when the mind of a person fails to handle different excessive external pressures. Mind fails to handle. And here is a problem of a mind again. Mind is not something fixed. It has awareness within you, which is not part of a mind, but is behind the mind. It has thoughts, it has emotions, it has imaginations. And all inner activities that you have learned during a life is habitual. Your parents have habits, your teachers have habits, you learn those habits. And there you are, as you are today. And those habits actually cause hormonal reactions and irritation and so on. 91% of us agrees that when someone else is stressed, it influences us. So in that sense, stress is a key issue. 87% of workers say that they are stressed. 9 out of 10, either from stress from others or personal level. So we can say that at the best calculation, only about 13% of people have a stress-free life. If I take different studies, I end up with a number 5%. So basically, 5 to 13% of people in a society can say that they can handle stress always in a calm manner. They experience it a little, but it's never problematic. Most people actually have stress problem, and 64% are claiming that they are on always on environment, that there are always stressors that irritate them. And when in USA people were asked that do my workplace stress affect my mental health, then 85% of people said yes. If we look at different scientific studies, there is a direct correlation between stress and burnout. If we take also more subjective analysis here, basically 83% of people say that I feel emotionally drained from my work. And employees strongly agree that they feel emotionally drained from their work. The amount of those people is 99%. Feeling drained from your work, depleted sometimes is okay, it's not yet stress. We all get tired. I also get tired. But the question is that how do I relax now? How do I get rid of this tiredness? How do I take a break? How do I restore myself? And taking a break and restoring yourself is a key issue, besides having interpersonal skills. And when I said 5%, and here is another number from a very recent study. It is a UK burnout report by Mental Health UK, published this January. 95% of working adults experienced high extreme levels of pressure or stress in the past year. And here we talk extreme, not mild, extreme. So basically, we all feel pressure. Every single person in some situation feels external pressure. It's unavoidable. Different thing is how often do you feel pressure, but every single person on planet Earth feels some kind of a pressure. The question is how you deal with it. Different people in different age groups deal with it differently. Younger people have more stress. They have more stress because you don't have an apartment or a house or a car. You need to buy all those things or get yourself established in society. Then in the prime age of 25 to 34, or you feel quite well. You already have a car or apartment. You live somewhere or you rent it, or you have your life more figured out. And then something happens, a number goes up and stays up. And one very simple thing is here the answer. When you have family with kids, then kids point out everything you don't like about yourself to yourself. When you have a tough work situation, when you have to take care of your family, when you have to secure income, when you have to find time for your spouse, when you have to find time for your kids, when you have to find time for yourself, it is more stressful than in the old age, above 55. But my point is that you should learn to become one of those who are among the 5% that you don't have a problem, or about 13% if you take another study. So if you come close to burnout, then burnout is a syndrome which is characterized by 3 dimensions: feeling of energy depletion or exhaustion. It is about mental distance from one's job and cynicism. And it is a work-related phenomenon. Lately we speak about that you can burn out from your family life as well, or your school as well. But narrowly, according to this WHO definition, it is only work-related burnout that is considered officially as burnout. But it is about reactivity. Why burnout happens is that your brain processes different things. But in the end, you have kidneys in your physical body. And there is cortisol, there is adrenaline, and there is noradrenaline. Those later ones here actually burn out. You have none of those left. That's why in the latest phase of burnout, you cannot rise from a bed. You cannot even call to your boss and say that I'm not coming to work. You are physically totally depleted. It becomes a huge struggle just to stand up from a bed. But my point is, you don't burn those out overnight. You burn those out over years. You burn out because you don't take a break. You burn out because when you are tired, you don't restore yourself. You burn out because you have a constant inner reactivity. And I show you a little bit different picture. Who would like to work here? Just by pictures.
No, thank you.
Wise choice, very wise choice. Why? Those are pictures from interior of 4 companies that burn out most people according to study. They have a lovely interior. Everything is nice, in a very nice environment. And the result is that Credit Karma burns out 70% of their staff. Oracle burns out 63% of the staff. Cisco burns out almost 60%, Amazon burns out almost 60% of their staff. Good environment doesn't allow alone to prevent burnout, because it is about inner reactivity. And here are 2 forms of stress. Have you heard about positive stress and negative stress? Now I have a question. A simple one. Which one is causing more burnout? Those in favor of a negative stress, those, please raise your hand. Those in favor of a positive stress, please raise your hand. Fact is, positive stress matters. It burns out most people. And why? If you are feeling great, if you have this kind of a, yes, let's do it mentality, then you go on, you go on, you go on, you go on. You push yourself to the maximum. And you burn out your adrenaline. In Estonian, we have sayings that people go out from themselves. It is a very correct description. You lose yourself is in English what people say. And it is also a very correct description. The problem is that what is that covers you up? Where do you lose yourself? And the answer is here reactivity. Emotional reactivity, thinking, imaginations. Those three domains. So you get lost. Word by word, you hide yourself with your thoughts. You hide yourself with your emotions. You no longer have a contact with the true silent and calm essence. And that is a problem in a very simplistic way. So I think you have a right answer by now, don't you? If you can remove one, would you remove stressors or stress? Yeah, you can remove some of the stressors if it's a noisy room, if it's open door. Of course, you have opportunity here to go here, close the door, and you have removed a certain stressors. Some of the stressors are very easy to remove, like closing the doors that noise don't come in. By all means, work with those. But if everything irritates you, then it's never the problem of stressors, it is about your inner activity. So that's why you need to remove stress. And stressors are always something you can work on, but mostly very hard to work on. It demands, closing the door is easy, but removing all furniture, even if I say that, well, let's remove all the furniture here, it takes about 5 minutes at least before we remove it. And can we say that we are more peaceful because there is no furniture in the room? Probably not. But if we remove our own reaction, then we become calm. And here we have to understand our levels. And we have to understand that we all operate on 5 levels, or 3 levels. It depends how you want to classify those. Your physical level is your physical body. I mean, you are born with your body, it's very hard to do something about it. Some people try to operate on it, but basically changing your outlook is very difficult by operation. You can use diet, you can use something else, you can change it a little bit, but it's very hard to change. But what is going on this level is only hard to change because there is a lack of awareness or consciousness behind what you try to change. If you, for example, try to change your eating and try, for example, to avoid all, let's say, meat products. So if your awareness is there that I avoid all meat products, but I eat, for example, fish, then you can very easily start choosing from a menu that I don't eat any more meat. But your awareness has to be there every time. As long as you go there and there is a menu, and you say that, well, I've loved this steak, and take it, your awareness is missing. You go on it based on your emotion or a memory. So here, in interpersonal level, awareness and consciousness is a key to leading your emotions and also to noticing your thoughts and imaginations. Your awareness is a key to understanding something. If it slips away, you lose understanding. It is that simple. And you, with your awareness, can lead your thoughts and your emotions. But you cannot lead your emotions with your emotions or with your thoughts, because they don't have enough power. They don't have enough distance. Awareness allows distance. It allows observation. And hence the saying that when you observe the menu and have chosen not to eat meat, it's very easy to make this decision. If you bring in thoughts and emotions, it's very hard to stick to the decision. You have to fight those, and this fight always ends up unwell for you. It always causes stress. But if you add awareness, there is no need for stress. Awareness alone is enough. Understanding alone is enough. When you understand that it's bad to hit your finger with a hammer, and you have done it once, you don't try it every day to do it again. You have understanding that when I hit it, it hurts. End of story. For life. You understand that I try to do my best always not to hit my finger. You try to hold the nail, hit it very slowly, and then bang it when it stands. You don't take a nail and bang it and say, oh, again. You learn it from your experience. But understanding is what makes a difference. And what allows understanding is consciousness. And who understands is true self. Your true essence, by the aware experience, understands something. We can explain it also this way, that there is no stability in a physical level. Who have seen that their physical body changes over the years? Have you noticed that your physical body changes over the years? Yes? No? Yes? Yes. Yes, it changes. Have you noticed that your thoughts and imaginations change based on what you know? Agreed. Have you noticed that your emotions and feelings and desires change based on where you are and what is happening around you? Yes, they always change. And the problem, what causes most stress, is our trial to fix things in a stable way that are never stable. On those upper levels, if I draw a red line and blue line here is always one sure thing, 100% sure. Always changing. You can't fix any of those. Have you been in love? Good for you. Have you been able to remain in a state that when you were in love is constant, not changing at all? No. No one is able to do that. Being in love always changes. Bad thing is when it changes to hate. If you understand something, it's easy. If you don't, it's hard. And there is absolutely nothing in the world that you can do on those levels that say would be stable. It's not in your power to keep those levels stable. Even if you have a physical building, something always falls off. Something needs to be fixed. If you have a car, something always needs to be fixed. Rust eats it up. There's always some minor changes. The question is that even if we look at the big rock in nature, it changes. But the changes are so small that we cannot observe those. But change is always there. The question is only in the speed of a change. And here, when we talk about awareness and using your awareness, having absolute experience of a quiet consciousness, then those are always stable. Nothing ever changes there. Consciousness always is. When you go to nature and listen to silence in nature, then this silence actually is consciousness. In nature, consciousness always exists. When you listen to silence in this room, I know there is background noise, but try to focus on silence. It actually calms you down, does it? We have not made awareness a consciousness. We have not made even our true self. We are consciousness is. And that is stable. Always is. The problem is that we lose contact with it. So we basically are overrun either by internal objects or external objects. Internal objects are our thoughts and emotions. But the true self is stable. And when we look in the internal domain, then there is awareness and consciousness. Awareness is active form of consciousness. You lead it at will. Consciousness is just a silence. This ease of being. that in essence is the same as it yourself. And this is what enables you to spot that, am I here or am I there? Am I with my thoughts in the wrong place? And if I are, can I bring myself back to the current situation? The problem here is that we actually lose this stable domain, this silent, stable domain, where we can direct our awareness at will, where we can experience silent consciousness. And then we try to build our mental wellness on something that is 100% sure to change. We try to hope that our spouse or our kids or our friends or our employer will give us stability. But in reality, they never can.